Today we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where we are focusing on the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. That was President Trump last night, moments before he signed the short-term funding bill to reopen the federal government and keep it running through January 30th. The legislation narrowly passed in the Republican-controlled House of Representatives last night with the help of 6 Democrats who voted in favor of the bill. Joining me now is one of the 209 Democrats who did not vote to move the temporary funding bill forward. That was Congressman Gregory Meeks. He serves as ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and represents parts of Southeast Queens that include the neighborhoods of Jamaica, Hillside, Far Rockaway. He, of course, is also the chairman of the Queens Democratic Organization. Welcome back to the program. Good to see you.
Good to be with you, Errol.
So the fight was over protections for the Affordable Care Act, the support for the premiums and so forth, which did not end up in the legislation, although there is a promise to address the issue next month or at some other future time. Is that really going to happen? Do you trust your Republican colleagues to keep their word?
Well, no, because Speaker Trump probably would not allow that to happen on the House floor. That promise was on the Senate, and also Speaker Trump have talked to Mr. Johnson, a member of Congress who has a title, but as he has done previously, he doesn't allow certain votes on the floor. And so I don't think at all that we get a chance to vote on the floor. He will do everything that he can to prevent that from happening. But I think that as a result of what took place, the American people see plainly who was crude to the Americans, you know, especially with reference to health care. And when those prices go climbing up, they will know that it's Donald Trump and the Republicans, again, causing the affordability issues and the cost of Medicare going up.
So yeah, we can go through the politics in a minute, but just to establish, you're saying that the nightmare stories that we've seen and reported on, premiums doubling, tripling, you know, making the cost of healthcare unaffordable for thousands, if not tens of thousands of families nationwide, that's pretty much going to happen now? Yeah,
it is, because this is the period of which you get the prices to determine what it's going to be. And your health care insurance is going to go up because you're not going to have the tax credits that goes along with the Affordable Care Act. So therefore, those prices, you know, all of the money that the tax credits were taking place will be gone. And that will be the responsibility of the recipient of these health care. So many people either will have to make a choice between food and medicine or not have health insurance at all, which will cause people to die, actually. It could be a life and death issue.
Given what all was involved, what do you make of the critics who say that Democrats should have just continued to hold out for maybe another week, maybe another 2 weeks, or as long as it takes to ensure that the outcome you just described doesn't happen?
Well, I think that, you know, that's why I voted no. I would have liked to have gone longer. I thought that after the results of the Tuesday's elections, where it was clear in New Jersey, in Virginia, in New York, but also in Georgia and Mississippi, that affordability is the key issue of what unites us as Democrats, and it put pressure on the Republicans, the president and other Republicans. And so I think that should, you know, I would have, if I had my way, we would have gone further to make sure that that continued, that pressure would continue to apply to them, and hopefully, because, you know, more red states are going to suffer as a result of these tax credits not being continued, than it is going to be blue states.
Well, you know, even with that being true, you've been through a number of shutdowns before, and the party that's not in power, which in this case is the Democrats, almost never gets to use it to affirmatively move forward complex legislation, right? I mean, it was by no means assured that even with more pressure, even with more time, even with the imbalance in who was going to get hurt by it, that the Republicans would have come to the table, right?
Well, you would think so. You know, all of these shutdowns before, you know, you had the President of the United States calling both sides into the White House, negotiating, trying to get things done. Donald Trump was on the golf course instead of trying to bring people together. He didn't care. He was traveling around the world and doing other things. So it was not his focus to try to bring folks together. Even when you're in the minority, generally you have an opportunity to talk and to bring your points up, and you try to negotiate. You may not get everything that you want, but you get something that you want, and that's how this government has worked. Not so with this president. You just listen to his words. He's trying to go after what he believes is Democrats, but That's why I thought if we went a little bit longer, it's also going to affect Republicans. So we are trying to help both Democrats, Republicans, independents, people. It's about health care for all.
You've been through a number of changes of control of the House. Does this smell like a Democratic year coming up?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think that the American people, and as Hakeem Jeffries correctly stated yesterday, either they're going to come to the table and make sure that we create an opportunity for people to have affordable health care, or they're going to lose in November of 2026. Because, as I said, you saw the results of what took place last Tuesday. And you look at every election that has taken place since the return of Donald Trump, and you see Democrats winning across the board. Because the promises that Donald Trump made of reducing cost and reducing inflation, all of those things are not true. Everything is going up.
Let's talk about the election here in the city. You endorsed Andrew Cuomo in the primary for mayor. You did not support a Queens official, Zohran Mamdani, even after he won the borough, including your district, even after he won the Democratic nomination. Why is that?
Well, I didn't endorse Andrew Cuomo either. What I knew was that there would be a Democrat that would be the mayor. Generally sometimes when you get into the general election, you have a Republican. So I knew I wasn't going to support Curtis. So that was out. But I knew that there would be a Democrat, and then we would have to come together for the benefit of the city, uniting, and someone has to be that bridge to bring folks together. So I thought that my role was to be that bridge, or to be a bridge, so that we can work together. Queens, as you know, is the most diverse county in all of the United States of America. And so we had a lot of voices on the Queens County Democratic Party, that was split. And so I thought, since it was split, there's no reason for me to jump out there. Let's try to figure out how we bring people together so that when we win, we can get things, we can move together.
Is that process happening? Have you spoken with the mayor-elect?
Absolutely. And we are all invested in his success, and he will be successful. I think that when you talk about, as he did, affordability and his plan, and that's what he continues to emphasize, what his plan is, how he's going to run the city. And when I look at his appointment, for example, of Dean Fullahan, that just gives you a first notice of how serious he's about pulling things together. Because Dean, I've known for a long period of time, from the days when he was in the assembly, when I was there. Dean is an individual that understands the city and the state. So the people that he's putting around him, as he said he would do, are the people who understand and know how to work collectively to make us go forward. And I think that's what, one of the most important things that a mayor to do is to surround himself with experts.
Okay. Now, a related question, the race for city council speaker. My understanding is that you're supporting city councilwoman Julie Menin, who's not from Queens, although there is at least one Queens candidate in the race, Savina Brooks Powers. And here again, I'm an outsider. I'm not part of Queens politics, but it seems like the Queens leader isn't supporting Queens people. Well,
look, what I do is I try to, it's not me imposing myself. I listen to people. As the Queens leader, you got to listen to the members, et cetera. So what I've gone around with the city council members, especially those from Queens, is to ask them, what do they think? Who do they think would be best to lead them in the next city council race? Who would be the best speaker? And so after talking to them and then understanding and knowing and seeing what Julie has done in the past and while in the city council, she is the appropriate person to be the complement and the partner of the mayor so that they can work together to stop what I believe is the existential threat to New York, and that is Donald J. Trump. So you'll have the first, as indicated, the first Muslim mayor and the first Jewish woman working together against Donald Trump and what he would like to impose upon the city of New York. Okay. We are heading into a busy re-election year. Please stay in touch because the midterms are going to be front and center after January as we get into this new era. Thanks so much for coming by. Thank you for having me.